Hello viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. Today we've got another episode of Guide to Game Shops. So recently I went down to Wells, which is sort of north Somerset or south of Bristol, in the sort of Wiltshire border of Somerset, and I was really impressed by this shop. It's called Insane Games. So Insane Games, they've got two branches, I think. One's a bit more south, I think. But I was really impressed by this one. I happened to be in the area, and it's been a game shop that's been on my radar for quite a while, so I thought it's definitely worth a visit. Has very good reviews on Google reviews and such, so I thought definitely worth checking out, as I was in the area for something completely unrelated. So as with most retro gaming shops, very friendly shop owner or staff working in the shop. I don't think it was the owner when I actually went in, but very friendly staff member who was chatting away to someone else and then myself. Very knowledgeable about their stock, so you could just ask them, have you got this, and they'll say yes or no. But the thing that stuck out foremost with Insane Games was the pricing. So they have two levels of pricing. So one is sort of a card payment, one is a cash payment. Obviously the cash payment is a little bit lower, so that's really cool to see. Obviously things like paying for the Zettel tax when you use your card is sometimes up to 15%, I think it is, which is a lot for a shop to pay if it's an expensive item. So they will do a cash deal. I know some of those deals don't get put on the tax record, let's say, but for the sake of a bargain, it's well worth doing if it's something you really want and does benefit the shop, because they're paying less tax on it and less fees as well. So I'll show up some pictures of what I mean by this. I took about 2.5 minutes of video just to sort of show you around the shop. It's a very sort of small to medium sized shop, but there's definitely a lot in a small space. But everything is very well organised as well, which leads me on to my second point as to why this shop is really good. Everything was alphabetical, which is not as common as you think to see. Obviously it does take a lot of organisation to do that, but everything was alphabetical when the games were on the shelf, and the condition I found on pretty much everything was very good, so they clearly are picky about what condition stock they take. Not a lot of duplicates either, so that was really good to see. So yeah, so far so good with this shop, really highly recommend. So I definitely noticed that the quality of the stock in Insane Games was really good. They were selling stuff that I've not seen in other retro gaming shops before, just sort of rarer titles, and especially they stuck out for the reasoning that they sold modern retro games. What I mean by that is companies who have made games for old consoles, like Bitmap Bureau, who made Xenocrisis. I actually saw a copy of that on Mega Drive there, having picked it up a few weeks ago myself, actually from Bitmap Bureau at Play Expo, but a copy of that was in there along with a load of Dreamcast new games, so that was really cool to see. And that's not something I've seen in many retro game shops, the fact that they're taking in newer games for older consoles. And it was not just the odd one, it was actually like that you could go in there and order if you wanted something that they didn't have. They had plentiful stock of those new retro games. So lastly, on the good side of things, so it was definitely a really good variety in this shop. As I sort of touched upon, it's got a large range of stock, but the variety of stock was really good. So what I mean by that is I saw a lot of games in there that I've never seen in other game shops before, which is quite uncommon, to be honest. You see sort of the same titles over and over in a lot of retro gaming shops, but I saw a lot of titles in there that I had to sort of Google and think, what is that? I've never seen that before. So if you're definitely looking for those sort of elusive games, it's probably a very good shop for that. And then just finally, it's not really a bad point, to be honest, on this shop. It's mainly just the location. So Wells is sort of quite a quaint, quiet town, I would say. It definitely sort of lends itself to the older generation, which is possibly why they get good stock in that shop. But it's not close to any sort of major cities or anything. It's sort of 40 minutes from Bristol, so not close to a lot of people, let's say, but I'm still impressed as to how good their stock is considering that factor. It's just quite a strange location, let's say, to put it politely, but I was more than happy to sort of make the effort to go to that shop, and I think you should as well. Parking was very simple. There was a massive car park nearby that was actually 2 minutes walk, and a coffee shop literally over the road from the retro game shop, which was open an hour before the retro game shop opened. So that was useful because we were in that area quite early, so it was nice to have a quick coffee before I sort of went into browse for an hour or so. I was done within that hour. I browsed every centimetre, it felt like, in an hour. So that tells you something about how small the shop is. But as I said, that's not such a bad thing. But yeah, highly recommend Insane Games if they're watching. Well done having such a good retro game shop. If you're anywhere in the area of that shop, highly recommend a visit. I think it's open possibly 5 days a week, sort of Tuesday to Saturday. I could be wrong on that, but I'll leave a link in the description for how you can get to the shop and their social media links. But if you've enjoyed this episode, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below if you've seen anything in the footage that you would have really fancied. But until next time, cheers.